Welcome back. It's good being on the show. It's the Eternal Baseball Podcast, number 38, if you're keeping track, and we are. Although that's the one thing I got to look up every week, right? What number is it this week? So 38 as Eternal Baseball Season 2 rolls on, just past the 1/4 mark. We are your hosts. We are your co-founders. We are the beating heart and semi-functional brains behind Eternal Baseball. I'm Mark Weber, my lifetime friend Brent Rotundi, and we're coming to you from from our man caves, as it were, with the week that was in Eternal Baseball and a really good National League matchup. We've got the West leading San Francisco Giants against the Cincinnati Reds, who are only 3 games back in the North. And the North, it always sounds funny to say NL North, but we have 4 divisions in each league. So there's East, West, South, and North. And the North is Pittsburgh, the Cubs, the Reds, and the Cardinals. And last season, it was the best division top to bottom. They were all over 500, I think. And they would be again, except the Cardinals are the shocker of the league after tying for the division title last year and losing in a 1-game playoff to Chicago that Cardinal fans are still probably mad about. They're really, really having trouble. 17-30 for a team that was well over 500 last year. So, but they've shown some signs of life as of late over in St. Louis. And the Giants, who we'll be looking at tonight, were our defending champions from last year. Really, really, really good. And this year, their numbers are down across the board. It's one of the things we looked at this week. We send out a weekly newsletter on Fridays. It's free to receive. You can sign up at www.eternalbaseball.com. And we looked at the Giants, and their big hitters, mainly, are all struggling. Barry Bonds, Willie Mays, Willie McCovey, a lot of them down. Their old-time shortstop, Travis Jackson, and Will Clark have stepped up to kind of not just keep them afloat. They're 28-19. They have a 4-game lead out west. But last year, they were like 30-4 out of the gate. So the Giants are mortal this year, but obviously still dangerous. And you got to believe over a full season, guys like Barry Bonds and Willie Mays and Willie McCovey are going to regress.
Those numbers have to come at some point.
Right? At some point. So, but let's take a look here. We always dig into the week that was. So let me pop the screen up here. And here we go. So, again, eye chart, I know, but that's why we color code it. So, looking at the teams that did really well this week, it's the Boston Red Sox, 5-1. Detroit has had back-to-back 5-1 weeks, so they've shaken off what was a bit of a slow start. So if they've won 10 of 12, they were 20-15, and now they're 30-17. So Detroit's really grabbed a hold of that American League North. And then your team's having a rough week. The Nationals continue to struggle. The Padres had a tough week after a couple weeks of at least average or above average play. And the Astros struggled enough that they lost. That's the one change among division leaders. Houston fell out of first place in the National League South to be replaced by the Atlanta Braves, who've had 4 good weeks in a row. So that's how things are shaking out. And one thing I'm excited about, we talked about how the Cardinals have really struggled this year, but 2 teams that are much better, Tampa, and we kind of saw that coming because they added a ton of players. And there's not a lot of player turnover year to year in Eternal Baseball. It's usually where you see it. It's a team that usually a relatively new expansion team because it doesn't take long for a guy like Wander Franco to make it not just in Major League Baseball, but in Eternal Baseball as well. So, but I'm happy to see the Expos playing better. Just a game over 500, but they are tied with the Phillies for first place.
It's exciting
in the National League East. I like some of the stories. We have 30 current MLB franchises, but we've got the Birmingham Knights, comprised of the greatest players in the history of the Negro Leagues. And then the Montreal Expos. And you got to feel for Montreal. I feel for any city that loses a team and it wasn't the fans' fault. Like if you don't come out to support the club, yeah, the owner should be able to move you. When the Browns became the Ravens, and Winnipeg left and became the Coyotes. Like, I feel bad. The worst, the Sonics, right? When they got literally kidnapped and moved to Oklahoma City. So
who could have guessed that a couple of nat gas and oil guys were going to bring it all the way?
Right, exactly.
We're going to move the team. Like, yeah, Howard Schultz had no idea. Like, what are we talking about here?
Right, but I love the sports karma of that they moved to Oklahoma. They got 3 future MVPs on their squad at the same time and never won a title. So
unbelievable that they shouldn't pay those guys.
I don't know how you have Harden, Durant, and Westbrook and don't win one title.
Well, they're just like, yeah, Harden? Like, who needs that guy? Like,
right? That guy is Sun Devil, baby. That's the shining torch of Sun Devil basketball. James Harden. It was a long time between Byron Scott and James Harden. So God bless him for coming around. But that was our week that was in Eternal Baseball. This is the overall look. And you get a good look at this daily at eternalbaseball.com. We're always putting up the standings and the league leaders and the daily schedule, of course. So one of the things that's funny to watch is the yo-yo of Ted Williams, who had a really down year for Ted last year. I think he hit like 280. And then he'd been well above 400 most of the season. And then he got mortal, and it dropped all the way down to 350. And then he had like 4 hit games in a row. So he's back up to 370, about where you think Ted probably should be. We'll see if he makes an assault on 400. I think 380 was the high mark last year from DJ LeMahieu, who went nuts in Colorado. But Ted's been something to watch this year. I see this is both leagues combined. Leads both leagues in runs batted in. His OPS is 1.2. Just kind of ridiculous. So good for him. And, yeah, I've been pretty clear about being a Yankee fan, but if you don't like Ted Williams, I mean, you're just not much of an American, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree.
Considering he served twice. So I had an argument with a guy. There was a Facebook, one of the pages we're affiliated with on Facebook is having GOAT Week, and they're just putting up who they think is the greatest, catcher of all time, greatest whatever of all time, and then they debate it. And they had greatest left fielder of all time this week. And the argument kind of broke down mainly to Ted Williams versus Barry Bonds. And I'm like, I mean, Ted hit
that's a tough one, actually.
Right? Ted hit 400. And looking at, it's funny, you look at defensively, Bonds was superior for half of his career. And then not for the second half of his career.
With that Sid Bream throw right in the middle,
right? Well, that was
demarcation line,
right? If you look at throwing arm and outfield assist, Ted's far superior. Actually, they're about the same, but Ted played less years. And remember, Ted lost, I think it's his age 24, 25, and 26 seasons while he served in World War II. And I'm not saying he should have ducked the draft. And
he really served though too. I mean, he was like flying.
Yeah,
like combat missions, right? I mean, this wasn't a guy who had a desk job somewhere.
No, it wasn't. It certainly wasn't ceremonial. And then I think I have to look this up, but I think it's true that he was a instructor for the pilots in the Korean War when he served the second time. So, I mean, yeah, imagine having Ted Williams' eyesight, like 2005, whatever it was.
Just staring through the sun.
Yeah, he was pretty good up there as well. And so not bemoaning that at all, but if you look at Ted's numbers and look at like almost the absolute prime of his career, he lost 3 of those years to the military service. Not to say lost, but imagine what his baseball numbers would have been with no World War II. So I said Ted. A lot of people said Bonds, but it was a good argument. So, and that's that's what we live on here, right? Is the idea of Ted Williams versus Barry Bonds or guys from, lunatic different eras, Cy Young starting against Randy Johnson. Like that stuff's cool. And we have absolutely none of that in our matchup tonight. So it's Giants at Reds, and it should be Mickey Welch against Tony Mullane. and these are not household names. So the thumbnail on them both. It's a heavyweight showdown because Mickey Welch went 5'8", 160, and Tony Mullane was 5'10", 165. So he's definitely got weight and reach on him, like if it comes to that. But these guys are, and this is what's kind of cool, and we know is a little bit ridiculous. These guys pitched in the 1880s and the 1890s, and so the idea that they'd be throwing gas past John Olerud these days, not sure, but the numbers are the numbers, and it was such a different game back then. Like Mickey Welch in 1885 went 44-11, right?
I started the third of their games.
he started 65 games, right? Like it was back in the day when it was kind of like Sandlot, right? If you get your boys together and run out to the field, Brent's our pitcher. Who's pitching? Well, Brent. He's the pitcher, right? So Mickey was the pitcher. He won 307 games in 13 seasons. So
yeah, basically he started every game except for the ones where he couldn't get off his shift over at the factory, right?
Like, right. And at the factory, he was probably lifting things with his pitching arm, right? And, on his off days. And Tony Mullane, kind of the same thing. Their careers are real similar. Mickey Welch is 1880 to 1892. Tony Mullane, 1881 to 1894. Tony Mullane won 30 games in 5 straight seasons. So, different game back then, but they were a couple of the sure aces. And I didn't get a chance to research this, but because they played for the New York Giants for Mickey Welch and the Cincinnati Reds for Tony Mullane, they probably pitched against each other all the time.
They probably hate each other.
Probably, right?
Yes.
So
this is
tonight,
a blood feud right now.
Right. And I can just imagine them coming together in the Great American Ballpark, probably black and white as they walk onto the field, right? and mustaches aplenty and just ready to go. So,
just waxing their stash.
Right? So that's what we have for you tonight. Oh, and I wanted to show this off because I've had it for a while. I'm at the monkey with my camera a little bit here, but right here, this is one of my favorite things to do.
Boom.
We are going to be controlling the Reds tonight, and Brent's an old school Barry Larkin fan, so that should help. But this right here, there was only one of these on eBay, right? So hold on, we'll see if I can get all the way around and show this off.
Yes.
Right? You see all that?
And it's signed by
Ben. Hold on, spin around. That's a Ben Weber practice jersey from 2005.
Wow.
And let's be honest, there aren't a whole lot of professional athletes named Weber. And none of them are that good, except for maybe Shea Weber from the Montreal Canadiens. So it's not too hard to pick up Weber jerseys. So this was an eBay find, I don't know, right around Christmas time. And you might remember Ben Weber, if you're a huge fan, was a rookie with the Giants in 2000, pitched 5 good years out of the pen for the Angels from 2000 to 2004, and then signed with Cincinnati. This is a practice jersey, maybe from spring training. He had 12 innings pitched to an 8.03 ERA for Cincinnati. And that, my friends, was the end of Ben Weber in the major league. So
we should give his agent a call, see if he'd come on the broadcast for the next Reds game.
We could, if not him, we could probably get Chris Weber. He's not doing anything right now. But I've got a couple of Weber jerseys, so I was happy to bust out the Reds jersey today. There's not a lot of fire engine red in my closet, so this is an easy jersey to find. So let's fire it up here, and this is the first game. Oh, and you'll love this big fix. It goes right to January 2022.
Wow!
And I don't have to forward 48 months.
That just saved us like 5 minutes of this broadcast.
I know it was a pretty simple fix too. So our thanks to
these are the things that Major League Baseball has been trying to get all their interns together to figure out how to trim this time off their own games.
Right.
This is it, man.
We just did it. Our thanks to Dave at DKSports.com. They're the publishers of the Action PC baseball game. That's the software that runs Eternal Baseball. So here we are looking at the Monday schedule, and this is exactly what we want, except we're going to be Cincinnati, not San Fran, and off we go. I was on top of everything. I even did a exhibition game to make sure we can see the percentages of the stolen base guys at first base because we want to be running, of course.
Oh, we're running, Weber.
Trying to think on the Reds. Eric Davis, maybe. Barry Larkin, maybe. But it'll be, I'm sure, Johnny Bench behind the plate. So nobody's running on us. That's how we're going to roll. So pitcher-wise, it's Tony Mullane.
I'm not sure where to put this. Is this better right here with the microphone? Well, I think our ratings just went up about 10%.
Right? Yeah, I'm not sure that's what we're going for here, but the cyborg look is not bad.
It's like Mr. Science Theater.
Right? All right, so building this out, we're searching here by their OPS against right-handers. We want to go by replay stats. So this is what's going on this season. Brandon Phillips must have barely played so far because he's got an 1,800 OPS against right-handers. I'm not sure I'd trust that number, especially when it would mean benching Joe Morgan.
Nah.
So here we go. We got two lefties and a switch and a righty in our top four. So that balances out pretty well. So Frank Robinson is our best hitter against right-handers, and we put him clean up. You can drop Pete Rose in.
Man, can we get Eric Davis in? Or
probably.
Eddie Rush doesn't look like he's doing that great.
Yeah, well, especially with Rose, you've got some flexibility, right? You can play him in the corner outfield, you can play him at first, you can play him at third. He's not a great third baseman, but we can drop. We've played worse. We play. I'm trying to think who it is. Jimmy Fox plays third base for us when we're the A's. Albert Pujols is a third baseman for us when he plays in St. Louis. So Rose at third. Nobody's gonna bat an eye.
We may have even put Tim Raines at third. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever,
it's been a long year and a half.
Have you ever played third, Tim? No. You got those quick feet. Joe Morgan's probably our leadoff guy from those four because we're not batting Adam Dunn leadoff. And Dunn can play outfield or first as needed. So Ernie Lombardi actually has a slight advantage hitting wise, but Johnny Bench
I can't not have
defensively. So
Bench in there. So
Bench goes next, and then Roush has a slight advantage. Well, Roush's OPS is 781. He's an old timer center fielder. Eric Davis is a 0, so it looks like he hasn't been playing. Must be.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
You got Davis, but
no Reds fans gonna get upset over that.
Are you gonna hit him that high though, or are we gonna move?
Oh God, no. Let's put Joey Votto in there somewhere.
Well, if we're going in order,
Klazuski.
It's Larkin. It's sleeveless Klazuski at first, and then it would be Davis hitting eighth in front of the pitcher. Sure.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right, there we go. And then for our opponent, see what the computer dials up.
Look at John McGraw. That guy is all business.
Right? It's Patrick Ewing starting, leading off, playing second. But no, this guy's awesome. Buck Ewing, their catcher, is really fast. So I have to keep an eye on him. He's leading off. And then Freddie Lindstrom at third, Willie Mays and Senator McCovey at first. Mel Ott in right, Travis Jackson at short, Kevin Mitchell in left, Buster Posey catching. Oh, I guess Ewing can play second base as well. So that's how they get Posey and Ewing in. That means both catchers are in their lineup. So we'll see if that is problematic for them later on. But right now, I think we're ready for ball.
Welcome to Great American Ballpark for tonight's game between San Francisco and Cincinnati. Mickey Welch will start for San Francisco. He's made 11 starts on the year and is 5-5 with an earned run average of 3.69. His first start against Cincinnati. He'll be opposed by Tony Mullane for Cincinnati. He's made 9 starts on the year and is 4-4 with an earned run average of 3.17. His first start against San Francisco. San Francisco shortstop Travis Jackson is riding a 16-game hitting streak. It's 57 degrees, wind speed 11 miles per hour, in from right center field. Pitching for Cincinnati, Tony Mullane. Leading off for San Francisco, second baseman, Buck Ewing.
You turned your back and Buck Ewing stole your wallet.
Right. Now, I mean, look at the mustaches we're working with here, right? Tony Mullane up here.
Tony Mullane.
He actually he was late to his last start because he was tying someone to railroad tracks. but we don't want to talk about that. And we actually played the Giants a couple times last year, and we basically learned they play in the outfield. They play no doubles defense all the time, and they just put Ott or McCovey or Bonds or whomever in left and right. Just hug the lines because Willie catches everything else. Anything hit left center to right center is Willie Mays territory, and we'll see some of that tonight. So, Tony,
we got to get the new Eric Davis photo, man. Is that a St. Louis hat?
Oh yeah, look at that.
Oh man,
we'll have to fix that.
That won't do.
No, the red must have fooled the computer, so I can't change it now. But I'll change it soon.
Oh, no. we're gonna get letters, Weber.
Yeah, letter probably, but that's okay. Tony Mullane. I didn't even remember Eric Davis as a Cardinal.
Third baseman, Freddie Lindstrom.
What happened? I didn't even see.
Ground out to first. Ted Plazewski, unrestricted by sleeves, made the pick. And
monster.
I'd love to see that today, right? Some guy in baseball.
Center fielder, Willie Mays.
Probably Luke Voigt. Just go, you know what? I can't work under these conditions.
Why am I spacing? No, the first baseman for the Mets, dude. Just totally spacing his name.
Keith Hernandez. Oh, Pete Alonso.
Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso was made for that.
But I like the idea of it being the Yankees, where they're like, no facial hair, no names on the uniform. We only have 2 uniforms. We never change. Just have Voigt walk out there with the 24-inch pythons.
Well, the question is, why hasn't one of the Yankees done the Tony Mullane stash?
But it's got to be above the upper lip. So Tony Mullane would totally work on the.
So you'd have to spend a lot of time keeping that above, I guess.
That was one of my favorite bits this week. Dale Murphy was one of our players of the day because he had a monster game, but the biggest blow it wasn't a walk-off shot, but it was the winning home run late off Raleigh Fingers. And we typed it up as Dale Murphy straightened Raleigh Fingers' mustache with a 3-run bomb in the 8th inning. Here's Willie Mays. Now, look at these numbers, man. We're a quarter of the way through the season. This is a defending National League MVP from the world champion Giants. 220, 3 homers, 11 RBIs. So, and he still terrifies me. See? Rightly so.
First baseman, number 44, Willie.
All right.
It's like Jake the Snake Roberts once said, it's more shameful to deny fear than it is to run from danger. And that's how I feel about Willie Mays every time he comes up to the plate. Look at McCovey, 187.
Oh, jeez.
All right, stretch.
He got him.
I believe that was a snap throw from Johnny Bench to pick off Willie Mays.
Things are looking up.
Rounded to Mullane, over to Klazewski.
That photo.
Pitching for San Francisco, Mickey Welch. Leading off for Cincinnati, second baseman, Joe Morgan.
Look at Mickey Welch. I think we found the hero of our silent film, right?
Yeah. I mean, looks like a fraternity photo from
right. I mean,
Yale early.
Just some glasses, and that's Clark Kent.
Right before he shipped off to the First World War.
Right. Even before that, man, the 1880s, right? He's like Civil War cleanup. So anyway, we'll get to it.
Look at Mays, dude.
Yeah. Or my name's not Joe Morgan.
All right, send him.
Third baseman, Pete Rose.
All right, Posey's not bad, so let's not be too.
Let's hit and run, man. Let's make something happen early.
I'll do hit and run. I don't think we should steal it at 57%. But with Pete Rose up,
just hit it to Ewing instead of.
Oh. All right.
Pete Rose didn't make contact on a hit and run.
Swing and a miss. Posey fires down to second. Out. All right.
Let's get Rose out of there.
Yeah, boo.
He made it.
We got Suarez ready. Oh, he's going for two. Look at him.
Left fielder, Adam Dunn.
Is there any chance that helmet was still on his head by the time he got it?
Charlie Hustle.
With the force he just flew into second base with and the Appalachian Bowl haircut underneath. There's no way.
Now, what is his percentage Welch has an extremely big head,
It
so I
does.
can't.
What are we looking at here?
Where we at?
47.
No, I guess not.
He's
When
a
you,
scoring.
of course,
he's a
Dunn's
scoring
just gonna hit a. He's gonna hit a lazy fly ball. So
That wasn't his game, man. He is the godfather of 3 true outcomes. Homer, strikeout, walk. That's all we're going to see from him.
we'll take the walk.
No, we won't.
Right fielder, Frank Robinson.
All right,
right,
here's our. We're on the board right here. There's no way
Like-
Frank Robinson lets us down.
Frank Robinson is, and don't take this wrong, is the girl you dumped who lost 20 pounds immediately, right? Because he got traded. They called him an old 31 or something like that. The owner of the Reds when he traded him. Somebody said he's only 31. They said, yeah, but he's an old 31. So
Was that Marge Schatz' husband? Was he still?
I'm not sure. I shudder to think of Marge shot in like 65. She might have been a looker. Right? But anyway.
I'm not Googling that, man.
No, don't do that. Frank Robinson got traded from the Reds.
Was Marge Shot a looker?
This
has been searched 2 times in the last 15 years.
So Frank Robinson gets traded from the Reds to the Orioles, and the owner, when asked, why'd you trade him? He was only 31. Yeah, but he's an old 31. So Frank wins the Triple Crown and the World Series for Baltimore in year 1. So
that's a good response.
Yeah, good for you, Frankie. And let's see it. Yeah, it's a dribbler. Welch.
Right fielder, Mel
Ott.
That's Marge Shot a looker. There's like one guy who's gonna watch this broadcast, but I want to know that.
Right, gotta find that out. Okay, here's something we can chew on all broadcasts. I forget if it's 8 or 9. The guy is a couple years old, so it may not even be true anymore. There's only 9 guys in history to hit. Oh God, was it 40 or 50? I should have researched this. I think it was 40 or more home runs in one season with a last name of 4 letters or less.
Mm.
And it starts off crazy easy because you're like, oh yeah, Ruth, Mays, Mel Ott, there you go. And then, man, it gets dry in a hurry.
Yeah, I always like to think that Kevin Moss,
right? He would have.
After that.
Here's a clue.
If he'd truly been given a chance.
One of these guys on the list playing in this game is not Mel Ott.
Pete Rose. Boom.
Shortstop, Travis Jackson.
Travis Jackson has been carrying this team on his back. 322, 6 homers, 25 RBI.
Just looks like a solid guy too, you know. He's the kind of guy if you needed, help moving.
Yeah.
There's Travis Jackson.
Absolutely. Now, but can he hit Tony Mullane's 73-mile-an-hour changeup?
Tony Mullane does look like he's up to something.
Ooh, that's got a chance. Look at that go.
At the wall.
Off the wall.
Left fielder, Kevin Mitchell.
Love Kevin Mitchell. And behind him, it's Posey and Welch. So with 1 out, we probably got a pitch to Kevin Mitchell.
Tony, this isn't what it looks like, Mullane. Was Pete Rose that bad of a
catcher?
fielder?
Number 28, Buster Posey.
I don't think Rose was ever considered dynamite anywhere, right?
Yeah.
But he was tolerable almost everywhere.
He's like that. He's the guy who never got by him. Like it might have just smacked him right dead center in the chest,
right?
Like 3 times a game, and maybe he threw one of the guys out. But
yeah, and a 4 out of 10 is not dreadful. It's not butcher, but it's below league average.
It's not Gary Sheffield at shortstop.
I love it when the Marlins. My favorite part about the Marlins, and they do play Sheffield at shortstop now and then, is it means a young Hanley Ramirez is on the bench going, what the? I'm sure Hanley took it well.
Catcher, Johnny Bench.
All right, Johnny.
Johnny Bench, looking like 14. This is his driver's license card, though, I think.
Looks sharp, man.
Johnny Bench has an eternal baseball record because when we get a new
shortstop, Barry Larkin,
a new Facebook group befriends us or accepts us truly. There was one called Johnny Bench, the greatest catcher of all time, or something like that. And I'd missed him in my first go around because I was searching for Cincinnati Reds baseball or Cincinnati Reds fans. And then I found this Johnny Bench group, and we put up a photo of like the starting 9, a composite shot of these guys with no names. And then fans are usually trying to figure out all 9. And it's a good way to, it's a good calling card, good way to start the relationship. And usually we get, between 10 and 50 likes on each one of them. We're partnering with like 400 groups on Facebook. The Johnny Bench fans. And this wasn't just a big picture of Johnny. It was the starting 9, but of course Bench is part of it. We got like 200 likes in like 2 hours. It was ridiculous.
Your phone was just booting,
dude, and it just kept building. I think it ended up with like 600 likes from this one group. It was phenomenal. So we love Johnny Bench, and for all you Facebook Johnny Bench fan group members, this one's for you. Here's Barry Larkin, who's a 10 bunter. And I know you were a big Larkin fan back in the day.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
One
no
out?
brainer. 1 out. Let's do it.
All right.
We'll steal second with him.
Plus, Mickey Welch is like 130 years old.
I'm not sure if we've ever successfully bunted for a base hit in 38 games.
Well, now it's 0-2, so the bunt's probably off.
Yeah.
That's foul ball too.
Nice try, Lindstrom.
Right. Straighten it out, Barry.
Oh! First baseman, Ted Kluszewski.
85-mile-an-hour fastball from Mickey Welch. Just burned up Barry Larkin. Here's Big Clue. Too much for Willie McCovey.
Center fielder, Eric Davis.
Kluszewski is a 26% chance to steal, but I kind of want to see the look on Buck Ewing's face when he goes to make that turn and the Incredible Hulk is not sliding. Here's St. Louis Cardinals legend Eric Davis.
Oh, get out of there, Melott.
Mellott's all over it.
Pitcher, Mickey Welch.
All right, Mickey Welch. He's not much of a bunter, but he's probably not much of a hitter either. 091. Do we bring the corners in or anything here?
It's not what it looks like. No, just pitch to him.
All right, Mickey. Oh, look at that line shot.
It's all falling apart.
Second baseman, Buck Ewing.
So Welch is not a threat to steal. Buck Ewing and his mustache step up. Ewing is a really good bunter. So do we want to adapt here?
Sure. I'm guessing he was a pretty good bar brawler too in his day.
Probably. Bare knuckle boxer.
Yeah, there you go.
Probably. You can just see him like, come on now. All right, so we got the corners in for Buck Ewing. Error at first.
Oh, no. What did it say? Bad throw? Or?
Low throw. Ted Scoops couldn't dig it out safe at first.
Come on, Pete.
It wasn't an error. I didn't give him an error, but it was a low throw. So the 4 defense at third has bitten us. And what's Lindstrom's up? Okay, I thought he was hung up.
Oh, wait, did we know he got it out at first, though? Huh?
He'll dig it out. No, it says Ewing is safe at first. Oh, it was supposed to, the throw into second originally. It animated that poorly.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So he threw to second, and then the throw from second to first didn't get Ewing.
Gotcha.
So one out. Okay. And here's Freddie Lindstrom.
Can of corn.
I told you Buck Ewing can fly.
Yeah.
Center fielder, Willie Mays.
Fly off the handle.
Willie Mays, runner on second and 2 down, hitting .225.
Yeah, he always beats it. If you want to walk him, man, I'm cool with it.
You can walk him or you can pitch around him. You cannot give him much rather than just put him on.
Sure.
Although one time I said, we'll pitch around him and he won't hit it for power. And George Bell put it off the top of the wall. But
I don't know, if you trust the handlebars, man.
I don't trust anybody against Willie Mays. I don't care if he's hitting 220. Yeah, put him on. Fine.
First baseman, Willie McCovey.
If the byline in the paper says they walked Mays and McCovey bit them, I can live with that, right?
Yeah. I love how Buck Ewing's just staring down the opposing dugout. Just itching to go.
He's ready to go. I like the old school mustache totem pole we're building here right in the middle of the field. Pretty exciting.
Eric Davis let us down.
Yeah, right, man. He's got a little bit of a mustache going there, but not up to par.
St. Louis, man, that must have been a really short stay.
Had to be the tail end after the Dodgers thing. Never really worked
Pitcher,
out, right?
Tony, Mullane.
Tony. Hey,
Come on, Tony.
He's hitting 176. Not too bad.
What's it? Is he a good bunter?
He is not. Bunted
All right.
2.
Let's hit a homer.
Come on, Tony.
Ooh. Oh, look at him fly.
Oh, and it goes right through Buck Ewing's legs.
Second error,
Second
Buck
baseman.
Ewing. No wonder he's so
Morgan.
angry.
Right. Joe Morgan's up.
If you want to hit,
Morgan's a terrible bunter. I didn't know that.
if you want to hit and run here, man,
I got no problem with that. We'll send Tony.
Let's do it.
It worked last time. Wait. Oh, it's beautiful. Run, Tony, run.
I was gonna say, what are you doing, Tony?
Third baseman, Pete Rose.
Pete Rose up. Runners on the corners. Wow, Joe Morgan has 28 steals on the season.
But Welch is just, man, he must have a good pickoff move or something.
We're in game 47. He's got 28 steals. So good for you, Joe. But maybe not at 54%. Pete Rose, let's see it.
Left fielder,
Come on,
Adam
Oh,
Dunn.
there we go. Time to steal a second.
Oh, okay, yeah, we're all over that. So the double steal or just a straight second base?
Straight. Let's just get him scoring position for this fly out.
That's a good idea. Sack fly. He's in there. All right, Adam Dunn. Run, Tony. 99%
Oh,
chance
yes.
Tony's safe. Yes, please. Morgan advances. Fine. Adam Dunn.
right fielder, Frank Robinson.
Now you see what we've learned here, kids. Sometimes the 3 true outcomes isn't always a good thing, right? A little tap out first. Advance the runner, hit it to the correct side, runner scored.
He was a 4 outcome guy.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so here we go with Frankie Robinson.
The Chris Davis weak grounder.
Right fielder, Mel Ott.
All right, well, we got one big run out of that as Mel Ott steps to the plate.
Oh,
There we go.
what was that?
Shortstop,
That sound effect?
Jackson.
Just trepidation over Adam Dunn's fielding ability. Like
Right.
that kind
Might
of
have
threw me
been.
off a bit.
By the way, Adam Dunn, 44 homers in like 2003 or something, so he's in the 4 letters or less 40 homer club. So good for you,
Like it.
Adam Dunn. And here is Travis Jackson, their best player so far this year.
Left fielder, Kevin Mitchell.
I used to love when ESPN's Sunday Night Baseball was brand new, when it was John Miller, who's amazing, and Joe Morgan as his color guy. Morgan would eviscerate whoever the second baseman was. Like, not only did they do some things wrong, but they did almost nothing right. And I remember, I didn't know that much about Joe Morgan because I started paying attention in like 85, 86. But he would just tear every second baseman apart defensively. And the only guy I remember escaping his wrath was Ryan Sandberg. Cubs were on that night, and he couldn't, he wanted to, but he couldn't find any fault with Rhino's play. So, Kevin Mitchell steps in. And it goes right through Pete Rose.
Dang, dude.
Catcher, Buster Posey.
It's an ugly game so far. That's an error on Rose. Next up, Buster Posey. Lines a shot to left. I'd love to see Mitchell going hard at third base.
Pitcher,
You think
Mickey
Rose and Kevin
Welch.
Mitchell wouldn't take much to get them to dust it up? And here's Mickey Welch, the bad bunter with runners on the corners and 2 outs. He can't bunt with 2 outs. All right.
He's gonna strike out or ground out. He's gotta.
Tap
Come
it
on,
to
Morgan.
Joe. Great play.
Not sure why I went to second, but
Catcher,
Yeah, sure.
Johnny
Maybe
Bench.
Posey this is post broken leg Posey. Johnny Bench steps to the plate.
Ewing is still staring at the other dugout.
Shortstop, Barry, Larkin.
What happened there?
A walk.
A walk. Okay.
Johnny Bench with the lead. Johnny Bench, the prototypical leadoff hitter, with the walk. Bringing up Barry Larkin.
Oh.
Grounds to McCovey.
Oh.
Advances the run.
Thought he booted it for a second. My bad.
First baseman.
That's gentleman Mickey Welch.
Klazuski.
He caught it in his white hat, I'm sure. Here's a big clue.
Yeah, oh, it's over. It's over.
Run, Johnny. Oh, it's off the wall.
Center fielder, Eric Davis.
Which would have been probably the first triple of Klazuski's career. But, okay, Eric Davis. We got something going. Nah, he's going sideways. Plus, it's Willie friggin' Mays, right? Like,
pitcher, Tony Mullane.
Well, Klazuski took third. We got Tony Mullane up, a 171 hitter this season. Klazuski has a 5% chance to steal home. Just
this would be an epic. This would be an epic squeeze.
What I'm saying is, given what happened in his actual career, for us to greenlight Klazuski to steal home on Posey might be the cruelest thing of all time, right? Go get him, Colossus. But for now, I think I'll squeeze if you want.
Well,
or Tony can just hit. He's not a terribly good bunter.
Yeah. All right. Maybe I'll slap one.
All right. Let's see it, Tony. Run, Tony. White. Buster Posey.
Second baseman,
safe
Buck
for now.
Ewing.
Buck Ewing back in. Not quite. Adam Dunn covers a lot of ground.
Third baseman, Freddie Lindstrom.
Freddie Lindstrom. Wearing out Adam Dunn.
Center fielder, Willie Mays.
Here we go.
It feels like he's up every inning.
Right? But we're up 2-0, so all he can do is tie it.
All right.
Oh, it's going to go through. Oh.
First baseman, Willie McCovey.
I thought it was going to go through, but instead it was a bad throw on an attempt to double play. It went into right field. Lindstrom goes to second. Mays safe at first.
All right.
So Barry Larkin, looking at you as Willie McCovey digs in. Get it, Pete? It looked to me like he could have got to third maybe before Lindstrom.
Yeah.
Right fielder,
I
Mel.
agree, but
there's Mel Ott hitting 227. Man, the parade of poor batting averages here. But it shakes my head like San Francisco's 28-19. Bonds isn't even playing today because he's hitting like 183. So
crazy.
It's terrifying to think, what if even half of these guys get back to somewhat normal? It'll probably be, the Giants apocalypse again. Like last
yeah, repeat.
Ooh. Deep in the hole, Mel Ott's not a chance. Barry Larkin makes up for his
second baseman,
his
Joe
throw that hit
Morgan.
Frank Robinson right in the numbers. Joe Morgan. Kevin Mitchell coming in on his horse.
Third baseman, Pete Rose.
0 for 2, the all-time hit leader, steps to the plate. All right.
Left fielder, Adam Dunn.
26%. Come on, Pete.
Got to be more aggressive than that. 0-2 to strikeout machine Adam Dunn. Oh, nope. He gets to it. Send Rose to third. Safe chance. 62% with 1 out.
Nah.
I tend to think once they're already in scoring position with these kind of lineups, I'd almost assume let the next guy hit. So no, Pete. Hold on.
Right fielder, Frank Robinson.
I'm sure Pete, in his mind, thought that was more like a 99% chance he would have been safe, but
Especially with Frank Robinson on deck.
not that Pete would play the odds, right? Frankie Robinson. Oh, somebody better run that out. It's like Dunn took
Catcher,
out Bucky.
Johnny, bench.
Didn't say that. It just said there will be no throw to first.
You shall not pass.
But you know what just happened.
The McRae.
Yeah, well, it was. Who was it? Oh, it was Dunn. So, yeah, it's probably a bit of a collision. Here's Johnny Bench. Oh, he's about to lose that Krylon contract.
Buck Ewing's had 2 errors.
Get it, Buck.
Same. Look at the ball.
Shortstop, Travis Jackson.
I gotta think playing second base with a catcher's mitt is kind of brutal, but good for him. Okay, Travis Jackson, who's a beast, may have just made his no. Dunn's all over it, all leather.
Left fielder, Kevin Mitchell.
He's got like, was it Mickey Kuntz that had that one card with the huge mitt?
It's a good call. Davis seems to be under it. Yep.
Catcher, Buster Posey.
We've never thrown a shutout before, and now that I've jinxed it,
bro.
Sorry about that. But we're cooking right now. Tony Mullane.
Shortstop, Barry Larkin.
Very Larkin. Larkin's a bunt machine, but that's up to you.
Yeah, if you're feeling it. We still have
39
games to count, and we still haven't got a face knock off
I'm firmly passing that buck.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's bunt. Let's do it.
Run, Barry.
Oh, what a remarkably
First
poor
baseman,
bunt.
Ted Klazuski.
We should have Klazuski bunt. That's shocking.
He's 2 for 2, man.
Right? Not anymore. Home run in the phone booth.
Like I was watching it too.
Right.
Center fielder, Eric Davis.
Here we go, Eric. Well, that was a pretty simple inning for Mickey Welch.
Pitcher, Mickey Welch.
And now he comes up ready to make a difference. Now, I suppose we'll leave this up to the computer because it's not guaranteed that you would pinch hit for him here.
Yeah.
But it is the seventh inning down 2-0.
I think if it was us, we would do it, but it's plausible enough that we just don't worry about it.
I don't want anybody to ever say that we were too jumpy on something like that, right? But if it were me, yeah, with these benches, I would totally pinch it for the pitcher in this case. But he also hasn't pitched poorly, holding the Reds to 2 runs and 4 hits. So, all right, Mickey Welch, let's see if they leave you in. Yep. He lashes the ball at Pete Rose's Swiss cheese glove.
Second baseman, Buck Ewing.
Hello, Buck.
Third baseman, Freddie Lindstrom.
Just like that, around the
It's
horn.
an easy game, Weber.
Right?
Tony Mullane.
The crowd really got into it all of a sudden. Throw it for Tony. Come on, Tony.
Oh, I thought he got it.
Second baseman, Joe Morgan. Third baseman, Pete Rose.
0 for 2, hit King. Let's see it. See, I just had to challenge him.
Left fielder, Adam Dunn.
He's not running, though, at 26%.
Hugely disappointing.
It's important to note that Mickey Welch has now thrown 109 pitches, meaning he's only got 40 left before he gets tired. But we don't want to overuse him because he's supposed to pitch on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Center fielder, Willie Mays.
Yeah, still terrified, but 2-0, nobody on.
Let the villain pitch to him.
Here we go. Willie Mays struggles.
First
continue.
baseman, Willie McCovey.
182. Crazy.
Right? Like, man. I remember
Right fielder,
in the first
Mel
season,
Ott.
it wasn't as extreme, but Tony Gwynn was hitting like 241
Right.
through 60 games. And I'm like, the game might be broke. And he ended up at like 322 or something. So it is in there.
This might be our quickest game ever. What are we at? 50.
Right?
Right fielder,
Tearing through
Frank
it.
Robinson.
I mean, we should just,
Catcher,
so we don't
Johnny Bench.
have another lament for a week long, we should probably get somebody up in the pen here just in case after whatever the next out is. And that would be
Shortstop,
now.
Barry Larkin.
So in the bottom of the inning, we're going to see, barring pinch hitters, Mitchell, Posey, and, well, a pinch hitter, obviously, probably Bonds or Clark, who are lefties. So I'm thinking, if I had a Cuban Missile in my bullpen, I might want him ready. So how's this? We'll warm up Chapman and Dibble. And that way, lefty or righty, we got something nasty ready in case we need them.
I'm going to Photoshop a villain's mustache on their entire pitching staff.
Right? Don't you think Dibble? Well, the Reds had a mustache rule too, didn't they? That was the whole rule with Raleigh Fingers. Raleigh Fingers was going to pitch one last year in Cincinnati, and they basically agreed to terms on the deal and told Raleigh Fingers, cool, but you got to cut your mustache.
Oh, man.
And Raleigh was like, your mascot has my mustache. And it eventually was a sticking point. Rather than shave his mustache and get one last year in the sun, Raleigh Fingers was like, I'm good. Me and my mustache are going to...
I appreciate that conviction.
I was going to say ride off into the sunset, but more likely ride into town and blow up the bank and, whatever else was on the building agenda. Okay, so Barry Larkin with 2 down. Oh,
Lindstrom.
Whoa. Looks like he dug it out.
Apparently he turned into Sean Dunston.
Travis Jackson.
Lindstrom boots it, picks it up, throws to first to retire the side. Okay. Chapman and Dibble are both ready should we need them. But Tony Mullane's got 28 pitches left in him, and he's earned the right to at least put somebody on before we get nervous. So here's Travis Jackson, their best player this year. But it doesn't matter to Tony Mullane.
Left fielder, Kevin Mitchell.
Kevin Mitchell.
Pinch hitting for San Francisco, Barry Bonds.
All right,
so
here
it is, Rod. Bonds hits 308 against lefties, 334 against righties. We have Aroldis Chapman, left-handed. And
No.
But Tony Mullane has only thrown 94 pitches and has thrown shutout balls.
Look at Tony. He is not even phased.
Nobody on. Bonds can't do any true damage here. So
let's do it.
Here it is. Grounder to Kluszewski, flips to Mullane.
Love it.
Catcher, Buster Posey.
Himself. Here's Posey, who's actually better against lefties. And we're not going to pull Mullane one perspective out from a shutout for Rob Dibble. Right? Okay. So.
Might even go under 100 pitches here, huh?
That'd be something. Look at that.
Wow. I am shocked. What's our game time? Wow, 54 minutes, man.
The final score from Great American Ballpark, Cincinnati 2, San Francisco 0. Tony Mullane is the winner. He is now 5-4. Mickey Welch gets the loss. He is now 5-6 on the season. Time of the game, 2 hours, 22 minutes.
Mickey Welch deserved better. And if you see his stuff rating, again, that can be a double plus, a plus, nothing, a minus, or a double minus, indicating how good their stuff was this particular day. So Mickey Welch was on his game. Tony Mullane was just average, but just average Tony Mullane with a complete game.
97 pitches. He's pitching in the next day or two again, isn't he?
He's probably hoping there's a doubleheader to just stay put. Then he can save on laundry. Because back then you had to hand wash everything, right? It was a pain. So especially in your home whites. May as well stay out there.
Hey, Ma.
Ma, the meatloaf. So our player of the game, yeah, pretty obvious. Tony Mullane getting it done.
You don't mock the mustache, man.
Man, I guess so. I guess the bad guy wins. So salute to you, Tony Mullane and Mickey Welch. We hardly knew you. Nice start. It's nice to see Barry Bonds show up and not do much right there at the end. And that does it. That's our first game from the Monday schedule. So if you want to see how the rest of the games turned out, check out eternalbaseball.com. We usually get our scoreboard and our box scores up midday. And again, we run games every day except Friday. And that's when the newsletter goes out. So if you'd like to sign up at our website, that's again, eternalbaseball.com. Newsletter is totally free. It goes out with unique content every Friday. This week, we looked at the struggles of the Giants. We looked at the curious case of Cy Young, who randomly decided to start 4 straight games last week and earned himself a suspension until February 3rd, just to make sure every pitcher has a certain amount of starts and innings they're supposed to throw in a year. And I think Cy Young's like 300. But if he's starting 4 games in a week, it's altogether possible he's going to run out of innings or starts by, game 140.
COVID has made everything weird, man. Like, teams have had to adapt.
Right. I was posting up a box score and I'm like, Cy Young won. And I'm like, feels like he's already won this week. And then I look at the box scores because I'm doing every box score every day. You're not reading all of them top to bottom. And I'm like, oh, he started yesterday, man, and the day before. And it's not the software. I'm sure it was me monkeying with the pitch counts when we had our wide 2K22 problem. So we got him fixed. We just sat him down for like another 10 days. So he still will have made the same amount of correct starts from Jan 1 to February 3rd that he should have. He just made 4 in a row for some reason. So good on you, Cy Young. But again, if you're just finding us, we appreciate you tuning in. And we are all over the place. You can find us at our homepage with our team-specific message boards at eternalbaseball.com. You can find us as Eternal Baseball on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter as Eternal Baseball. You can find us on Instagram. We are all over the place. Soon to be debuting our victory dances on TikTok. So I'm pretty excited for that. And I believe we'll be back next week. Next week's our first unofficial Eternal Baseball road trip. So we'll be the visiting team as Roto and I get to hang out for the first time in ages. So we're looking forward to that. And other than that, I'm pretty proud about what we did tonight.
Man, good work. Good solid. It was a good day's work right here.
Yeah, we avoided the temptation of 2 really good arms in the bullpen that probably would have bit us in the ass. And it's like Ebby Calvin-Nucleus always said, I love winning, right? It's like better than losing.
And under an hour. Look at this. Look at us.
Look at that. We're 2 out.
Something's happening there.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to jinx it because the karma's good. So we appreciate you finding us. We hope you stick with us. And we will see you again on another thrilling edition of the Eternal Baseball Podcast.